A Paducah, Kentucky man and his grandmother are behind bars for their involvement in the sexual abuse of a minor. Authorities said that 24-year-old James Robinson gave the female juvenile relative marijuana and then initiated sexual contact with her. After learning about the allegations against James, deputies found out that James's grandmother, 78-year-old Aretha Jeanette Snow, was also a caretaker for the minor. She allegedly knew about the abuse, but failed to report it. On Wednesday, the 10th of January, authorities arrested James with incest with a person less than 18, first-degree rape, and second-degree unlawful transaction with a minor. James reportedly has a lengthy criminal history and was on parole at the time of his arrest. Aretha was also arrested and charged with failure to report child abuse. They're both held at the McCracken County Jail. The investigation into the matter continues. A 20-year-old man has been charged with capital murder after fatally beating an elderly man during a robbery. On the 12th of December, deputies responded to a residence at 11220 US Highway 84 West in Wicksburg, Alabama, and found 70-year-old Durwood Ard severely beaten and deceased outside his home. His death was ruled a homicide. Investigators collected evidence and submitted it to the state crime lab. On Thursday, the 18th of January, officials received the lab results which showed the DNA collected from the crime scene matched that of 20-year-old Justin Ryan Ammons and charged him with capital murder during robbery. Authorities said that Justin had always been considered a prime suspect in Durwood's killing. However, they could not charge him with murder until forensic results came back. Justin remained held at the Houston County Jail since the day of the killing on pickpocketing charges. Houston County Sheriff Donald Valenza said that Justin and Durwood knew each other prior to the killing, and that Justin was most likely homeless at the time. He said that Durwood suffered severe extreme skull fractures and structural damage to his skull, and was deceased for about 12 hours before his daughter found his body. Sheriff Valenza said that this was one of the most brutal murders he's ever seen in his 45 years in law enforcement. Justin remains held without bond, and if convicted of Durwood's murder, he faces a death penalty. The investigation into the matter continues. A delivery driver has been killed by a naked man who fatally beat him with firewood he was delivering. At 1:28 p.m. on Saturday, the 13th of January, authorities responded to residents along Wendover Drive in Fort Worth, Texas on multiple calls of an assault. When officers arrived, they found 57-year-old Scotty Jackson in the front yard with severe blunt force trauma to his head and neck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Scotty was hired by the homeowner to deliver firewood in the freezing conditions. He arrived and was unloading the logs when he was approached by a naked man, later identified as 27-year-old Chrysanthus Omandi. Chrysanthus was renting a room at an Airbnb nearby on the same street. The homeowner, whose name remains anonymous, told authorities that Chrysanthus was acting belligerent and extremely violent. He said, "This naked man is 3 inches from my face, holding a key up to me, yelling at me I was on his property. He never wants to see me again. I should leave," the homeowner recalled. Scotty then replied, "No, this is his property in his house. Just let us unload the firewood because it's cold outside." Chrysanthus then pushed the homeowner and struck Scotty with a piece of wood repeatedly, and then eventually dumped a wheelbarrow on top of him. Chrysanthus then chased the homeowner into the house before returning to Scotty and beating him with logs until he was dead. The homeowner said, "I fully believe with my whole heart that he was out to murder both of us." Once the deadly attack was over, Chrysanthus returned to the Airbnb where he was staying and threatened a woman renting another room in the same home who was doing laundry. The woman said Chrysanthus was hollering at her and saying, "I'll beat your ass, I'm gonna fuck you up," while trying to force his way into her room. She managed to get safely inside a bathroom, where he also attempted to force entry until police arrived. Police confronted the naked man, who was described as non-compliant and aggressive. As officers directed Chrysanthus to exit the home, he came out yelling. Ultimately, police deployed a taser on the suspect and took him into custody. According to neighbours, Chrysanthus had recently rented a room at the Airbnb just a few days prior to their fatal attack on Scotty. Scotty's daughter, Casey DeLeon, feared something was wrong Saturday when her father failed to return home. "I remember telling my boyfriend something is wrong. My dad always calls me," she said. "I'll never be able to call my dad again. I'll never be able to see him. At this moment I have so much hate and so much anger. I just hope that justice is served. That's all I want for my dad," she said. Chrysanthus has a criminal history, including evading arrest. Last year, he held a security guard at gunpoint in Tarrant County. Chrysanthus has been charged with murder, aggravated assault of a security guard, and obstruction. He's been held at the Tarrant County Jail on a $312,000 bond. The investigation into the matter continues.